Would you help me welcome the 2018 Overton Award winner, Jonathan Bechtle? Well, this is a sweet moment for me because Joe Overton was a personal friend and mentor, and because Bob Williams and I hired Jonathan, almost fresh out of law school nearly 15 years ago, on the advice of another powerhouse talent in this place, Mike Reitz, who was also working at that shop. And at the time, you were a single young attorney. You quickly gained a state and national voice, very quickly. And I remember the time you came in my office with a picture of a beautiful young woman you hoped would say yes to share a future with you. And that's Missy, and she said yes. And today, you and Missy are rearing 4 precious little souls. It's very sweet, a 360-degree view of Jonathan and Missy. On behalf of SPN, it's my privilege to give you the Overton Award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Len. Joe Overton. You know, I walk by a portrait of Joe Overton almost every day at that first think tank job. We all know him for the famous Overton window, but he's legendary for something much more. He built things that mattered. And I'm standing here today because SPN believes that at FGA, we are building something that matters. And I don't say we lightly. Since I walked into FGA's one-room office exactly 5 years ago this week, our team has grown from 6 to 67. What have they built? You could measure it in geography. We work in 46 states and DC. In state policy wins, 156 in the past 3 years. Or in dollars, we've raised $37 million in the last 5 years. In complexity even, we have to comply with state tax, employment, and lobbying laws with 52 different state and federal agencies. Or in talent, we get an average of 120 applications for every job posting. But this is how we choose to measure what we've built, with just one number. Lives changed. 6.4 million Americans will move from being welfare dependent to having a job, or a better job, with a bigger paycheck and better health, with a real shot at the American dream. 6.4 million, that's more than the entire population of Denmark. Not that I'm saying anything about Denmark. I have a confession. I had no idea how to lead others to build something that matters. There was a lot of days I felt like an imposter. But I had to get over it. So I did. And here's what I learned. Fear is a gift. It's a sign showing something that you need. And people who build something that matters learn how to recognize their fears. They talk about them to people they trust. And here's what's most important. They get wisdom from those people to better themselves and to solve their needs. There are 3 people in particular who have been that source of wisdom for me through all of my fears. And so it's appropriate that they get to be here to be part of my celebration. My mom and dad and my wife, Missy. Thank you. Fear is a gift. Use it to become your best. Second is focus. Let me give you a history lesson. When the U.S. entered World War II, they focused 80% of their resources on defeating Germany, and only 20% on defeating Japan, despite having just lost more than 2,000 men at Pearl Harbor. They knew that defeating Germany would make the war winnable. Germany, on the other hand, fought the war on 5 different fronts, and we all know how that turned out. Focus. Be America, not Germany. Third, freedom. The culture of our businesses should look more like a free market than like North Korea. You know, we all talk about hiring great people, but here's the truth. If you create a great culture, they will come and they will stay. So what does that look like? Well, great teams aren't told how to do their jobs, just what prize they aim to win. And we keep great talent by allowing them to do great things and paying them really well. And when you have great people, you don't have to spend your time on creating new rules and new bureaucracy. Instead, you get to spend your time on doing great things. Because, after all, our businesses of any should demonstrate the power of freedom and free markets. Fear, focus, freedom. So I love this story. It's where I'm standing on the edge of a cliff, watching a tightrope artist walk lightly across the rope without wavering. Then he grabs a wheelbarrow on the other side and has his assistant get in, and then he walks her back across the rope. It's amazing. Then he comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you think I could walk across the rope again?" "Yes, of course." With the wheelbarrow, without falling?" "Yes, I have no doubts." Then he looks at me, smiles, and says, "Great, get in." Building something that matters will not feel safe. It will feel like getting in the wheelbarrow. But the places you'll go. 6.4 million Americans have a chance at a better life today because we are building something that matters. Thank you for this honor.